Probably the most anticipated DC movie right now, moving forward into the next couple of years, is The Batman 2 from Matt Reeves. The first Batman has made way for Matt Reeves to create TV spin-offs, which we're supposed to get The Penguin after the strikes end, if they ever end. We're going to get the Batman sequel in October of 2025, and who knows how many more TV shows and movies could come from it. Matt Reeves clearly wants to make his name known in the world of Batman. He obviously wants to staple his name to the legacy of Batman so that when people in the future make Batman movies, games, TV shows, or whatever it might be, they don't just look at Christopher Nolan, they also look at Reeves. With his Batman universe expanding and going in directions that even we do not know yet, there's been a lot of speculation on who shows up next. Ever since Batman dropped in theaters last year in March, there has been non-stop online discourse about who will the villain of the next movie be. I've even made my fair share of videos on that topic. A lot of the discussion leads to Hush, Court of Owls, Harvey Dent, Two-Face, and of course, the Joker. Even Mr. Freeze is a fan favorite to show up as the main villain for the next Batman movie, a Batman world that so far has shown nothing to be fantastical. There are even other villains that could be part of this movie. The Riddler, I have no doubt, will probably be shown again in the second and even third film. But then when you look on the Friends side of things, they've already established that he would view Gordon as a friend, of course Alfred as a friend, and now I would assume Catwoman. But for so long, people have wanted to see Robin in live action, the boy wonder, and not what we got in The Dark Knight Rises with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, literally Robin, someone who dresses up alongside Batman and fights crime at night. Well, there are rumors right now that Robin is going to be in this film, or at least word of mouth, people are saying that there has been discussions to bring Robin into this universe. I will of course give you my opinions on what I think this could mean and what I think about bringing Robin into this world in general, but this is a statement that did come from Robert Pattinson. Yeah, but he has to be 13. That's the only way I'll accept it. No, I love Death in the Family and stuff, but I think it would be so cool. Also, people are so scared of it, but it's kind of exciting. I think it would be a really fun addition. That is a quote from last year, around the time or a little after the time of Batman's release. But the reason why I'm reading that for you, if you haven't heard it before, is because clearly Pattinson is okay with the idea of Robin. Apparently, Matt Reeves is okay with the idea of Robin. And why that plays an importance right now is because whether or not you like scoopers, whether or not you believe them, I understand if you do like them and I understand if you don't like them, but My Time to Shine on Twitter apparently says that their sources confirm Robin is showing up in Batman 2 and that he will be 13 years old. This also comes with the speculation but strong rumor that Clayface is also going to be in the movie. I assume Clayface is going to be the 50s or 60s version of him. He's not going to be the raging clay monster that can turn into anyone and or anything. But regardless, when it comes to Robin, this can either be good news or bad news for a lot of people who love the exploration of the Bat family. They may love the idea of having Robin in the future of this Batman franchise, but other people might see the downsides of it and might think it's not necessary. Let's just say Robin is in this film. The question now becomes, which Robin is it? You technically have 4 choices you could go with, but really you're only gonna have 3 because the 4th option is Damien Wayne. Damien Wayne is being used in the DCU Batman film if that film ever actually does get made, and I don't think Matt Reeves will take Damien Wayne and use him for his universe because, I mean, there's gonna be 2 Batmans at the same time. If that isn't a bad enough idea already, now you're gonna have 2 of the same Robins at the same time. You gotta change it up somehow. Of course, you're gonna have a lot of the comic book heads who says, no, you have to start with the first Robin ever. It has to be Dick Grayson. It all depends on the story with Matt Reeves. This is not connected to a Justice League universe. This has nothing to do with any other superhero. It is just another Batman world. If you really wanted to fit the tone and atmosphere that this world has, you don't need to go Dick Grayson. You could start with Jason Todd. This world feels much more particular to Jason Todd. Really, at the end of the day, it is between Dick, Jason, and Tim Drake. Not many people seem to be particular to Tim Drake the way I am. I really like Tim Drake. They won't go that direction, though. Jason Todd, he fits the mold of this world. And Dick Grayson, I don't need to tell you how important it is. This can't simply just be Batman is more than just Batman. He has Robins. There's a Batgirl. Let's throw somebody in. It needs to fit the story. There needs to be a particular story on why Bruce Wayne is getting a 13-year-old boy to fight crime with him. It needs to make sense, and it needs to feel right. Let me tell you how I think of it. Batman and Robin are a very common and iconic duo in the universe of superheroes. Through all times of history, Batman has always had some sort of Robin. In comic books, it's very easy to take a man like Bruce Wayne, who's maybe in his late 20s, early 30s, mid to late 30s, or even in his 40s, and you pair him up with a Robin. It's also very easy to get away with the idea that this Robin is maybe 10, 12, 14 years old. It's a comic book. You can get away with practically everything and anything. When you read comic books, a lot of the time you have to throw away your sense of reality, because reality in comic books can be anything. Not everything really needs to make sense. Not everything needs to be practical. Although when you make them more visual mediums like a show or like a movie, that's where things start to attach onto realism just a little bit more. We still understand this is all fictionalized, but sometimes with our visual fiction, we like to have a reality aspect to it. Now, in Nolan's Batman, the reason why he never had Robin is because it simply did not make sense to the story he was telling. Yes, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Robin did come into play, but really not until the very end of the movie, where we found out that was a version of Robin who then didn't even really work alongside Batman as a close sidekick. He only took over for Bruce at the end of the movie because Bruce realized he had what it took. And at the end of the day, when The Dark Knight Rises ends, we don't know if Robin ends up becoming another Batman, or if he ends up changing his identity to Nightwing. That's all up to the interpretation of the viewer. But in such a serious, consequential world like Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, Robin wouldn't have worked because it wouldn't have made sense having a 13-year-old boy fight crime with Batman. That is the same issue I think Matt Reeves' Batman has. In a Gotham and a Batman world that Matt Reeves created, which is very gray, it's very dark, it's quite depressing, I'm not sure how a 13-year-old boy can be expected to go out into the field with Batman and do what he does on a nightly basis. Think about Matt Reeves' first Batman movie. Could you imagine a Robin side by side with him in that film? Could you imagine not just a Robin, but a 13-year-old boy Robin? Personally, I couldn't. This is not me saying don't do it, it's stupid, it's wrong. No. If you can find a way to make it work, if you can find a way to make it make sense, by all means, do what you're gonna do. But looking at all the information and the details of the world that has already been created for us, I don't see how that works, especially too considering Matt Reeves did not make this Batman world fantastical. There's no sense of campiness at all. For example, the DCU Batman will probably have a little bit of that campiness. I assume you're going to need a little bit of that to introduce a Robin. 13 years old too, guys. That's young. That's dangerous. You're in a realistic world of a Batman universe, and you're getting a 13-year-old boy to risk his life getting shot at by criminals and fighting people like Riddler and the Joker. It's strange. I even think a Robin in that universe who's 16 or honestly 18 is better than 13. Now, I know you could, for example, look at the first film and the connection that Batman had to the boy whose father was the mayor and died by Riddler at the beginning of the movie. Bruce obviously put himself in that boy's shoes and remembered what it was like losing a mother and father at that age. He has sympathy towards that child. They could easily change the narrative, change the origin, and make that boy Dick Grayson or Jason Todd. Yeah, I know Dick Grayson's parents die in a carnival. Sometimes things just need to be changed. And like I always say, sometimes creatives just need to be allowed to create and make different ideas. And I think a lot of people, when they watched the first Batman film, they thought that boy was going to somehow take place in Batman's future moving forward. I personally think what they could and maybe should do, make him a little bit older. And we all know everybody wants to see Robin's live action, of course, but even more so, I think a lot of people would love to see a live action Red Hood. You could play out a story where Bruce takes a chance on a younger boy being Robin in Batman's very terrible decision to take on a young ward to fight these very evil people that Batman fights on a nightly basis. Robin ends up getting captured by the Joker, and we all know what happens after that. He gets brutally tortured and killed. Just for the future of Matt Reeves' universe, we see that boy who was put in a terrible decision, all because of Batman's terrible idea of having a young boy fight crime, now turn into the thing that Batman has always fought against. And you could do it in a situation where this boy needs help. He needs some sort of care. When Bruce looks at this boy, he sees himself when he was a kid. Even though he was filthy rich, he felt like he had nothing because he nearly lost everything with his parents. And when he takes on this boy, he realizes that he's kind of a natural at doing what he does at night, and he battles with this idea. Should he suit up? Should he not? Should he even know what I do? And finally, he makes the choice. You know what? I'm going to bring this boy out with me during the night. We're going to fight people like Riddler, Joker, Clayface, and whoever else. And that bad decision will catch up with Batman, which in the future, that bad decision turns into the Red Hood. Because that's another thing I feel with the sequel for Batman and the future of the Batman universe. At the end of the day, no matter how bad things might get in this world of Batman, when it officially ends, there will be a bright side to everything. Everything will end up more positively than negatively, I would assume. But if you're going to introduce a Robin, I feel like there is only one way that should end up in a world like Matt Reeves' Batman. It should end up being bad. I can't stress this enough. If you're going to employ a boy to do what you do at your level, expect terrible things to happen, especially in a realistic world. But that's it, guys. That is my opinion on how I would handle Robin in the Batman sequel and moving forward into the future of that world. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you believe the rumor? Do you like the idea of Robin being in Matt Reeves' sequels? How old do you think he should be? Give me your opinions on how you feel about this situation. But that is all I have for you on this one, everyone. So until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.